Want to be a topper in MBA entrance exams? Join BYJU'S Exam Prep, CAT and MBA YouTube channel and watch serial 99 percentilers teaching you the tips and tricks.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep. So today we are going to do caselets. Okay, caselets is a kind of data interpretation which involves passage-based data interpretation. Okay, so we shall see some problems based on caselets, wherein you have to like data in the form of text. Generally, you have graphs. You have different kind of graphs: bar graph, line graph, pie chart. Then there is table-based data interpretation also. One of the forms of data interpretation is passage-based, which is many times asked in your Maharashtra CT examination. Okay, so in this class we should practice some caselets and see how to what should be the approach of solving questions. How can you do things better than most of the people do? All right. Good afternoon, Vicky, Sonali. I hope you are doing good and preparing well for the examination. You have enough time for the examination since it has been postponed. You have more than 2.5 months, almost 3 months, a little less than that. So prepare well for the examination, and the more you practice, you have good chances of scoring well in the exam. So let's begin today's class. So this is the first set. It says that there are 3 publishers, A, B, and C, and they published 2 types of books, fiction and non-fiction, and some of them are sold and some of them are unsold. So 3 publishers, and they published some books, some sold, some unsold, and 2 categories of books, fiction and non-fiction. And then we are given information about all the 3 publishers, right? A, B, and C. So for A, it is given here the total number of books published, non-fiction, etc., etc. Okay, and then B and C, and then we have questions following it. Okay, so what we'll do in this case is we'll make a table, okay, in order to answer the questions, because here you need a table, and once you get the values for all these 3 publishers, then you can easily answer the questions. Okay, so unlike in a graph based DI wherein you can look at the graph and answer the questions, here you will have to make a table. If not, I mean, you can see that what are the things asked. Like for example, first question is about publisher C, so we can just answer about publisher C without even calculating the entire thing. So the essence is you should know key, should you actually calculate things or you should just focus on certain things, right? Let us say you do not your calculation speed is slow, okay? Or you have done good in other 2 sections, English अच्छा हो गया, reasoning अच्छी हो गई. Now in quant you are being selective, तुम सोच रहे कुछ कुछ कर लेता हूँ, right? Then you see this question, right, which is asking what is the number of non-fiction books published by publisher C. Okay, so you can just read for C and answer for it, right? If you can get that answer, great, right? You do not have to solve for A and B. But when you read for C, it says total number of books published by publisher C is 180 more than the total number of books published by publisher B. Okay, so you cannot find for C, you will have to find for B. Okay, and in B also they have given the ratio of total number of books published by A to B is 5:4. So that means we have to start from A only. Okay, so it is not that easy as it looks. So this understanding is important. Key, can you answer the questions with minimum effort? Suppose for C they had directly given the number of books published and these ratios and all, you could have answered this question. But in order to answer this, we will have to start from A only. Okay, so let us start from A. I'll tell you how to make a table. You make a table like this. You can make publisher A, B, C. Okay, and then you can just write the total books, then fiction, non-fiction, and sold, unsold. Okay, so let us calculate for A. We've calculated for A, then we will calculate for B and C also, and then answer it. You mean marks for MHCET? Yes, you should have already started taking it for MHCET because earlier the exam was early, right? So this has been postponed recently. Okay, so let us find for A. So total number of books given is 450 that we can directly fill, and it says non-fiction is 50, and so that gives fiction as 400, right? And number of books sold is 41 more than the number of fiction books. So fiction is 400, so this should be 441, and unsold will be 9 because this total and this total should be equal to this. Okay. All right. So let us calculate for B and C also. This is non-fiction. Okay, so do it and then answer the question. First question you can answer, then that will help you solve the entire set. Now, generally, in case of like caselet, it is better to create the table in advance because what happens is, let us say in case of graph, right? They might ask you about some particular thing, then you can see it is easy to see an answer, right? If a table is given, you can see values in the table and do the calculation. But in this case, values are written in the form of statements, right? So the strategy is to convert into numbers, make a table, and then answer. So Vicky, have you calculated all the values or just calculated this particular question? All right, so let us calculate the values and then fill it. So the ratio of total number of books published by publisher A to B is 5:4. So 5:4 means 450 to 360. Okay, and 25% of the total books published by B is not sold. So 25% means one fourth, right? One fourth of 360 is 90. So 90 not sold and 270 sold. Okay. Then it says that the number of non-fiction is 20% more than the number of non-fiction. So non-fiction is 50, 20% more means 60. And this will be, fiction will be 300. Okay. Similarly, for C, total number of books published is 180 more than that of B. So B is 360, this will be 540. Okay. The total number of books, the ratio of the fiction to non-fiction is 4:5. Now 4:5 means 9 parts, right? 9 parts are of 60, 9 parts of 540. So one part is of 60. Okay, so 4:5 means 240 and 300. So fiction is 240, non-fiction is 300. Okay, and then publisher C sold all the books. So all are sold 540 and this will be 0. No unsold book. Okay, so simple. It was simple one, right? You just can fill this. So that is generally the level in CET, right? Of most of the DI sets. There will be maybe one set could be calculation intensive or lengthy, but others are simple ones. Okay, so now we found the books. Now let us answer the questions. What is the number of non-fiction books published by publisher C? So non-fiction by C is 300, which is option B. What is the ratio of total number of books sold by publisher B to that sold by publisher C? Now, one important thing that you need to be careful about, that is generally in case of these questions in any topic, is like just be focused while attempting the paper, right? So it is saying that ratio of total number of books sold. Sometimes maybe in a hurry we might read that books published, and it is possible that people get those answers incorrect, right? That's a silly mistake. Okay, so yesterday I was telling about the test taking strategy, and I was telling that avoid those silly mistakes. Okay, so it is talking about the number of books sold. So books sold by B and C is 270 and 540, right? So the answer is 270 ratio 540, that is 1:2. Number of books not sold by publisher A are what percentage of the number of books published by him? Books not sold by A. Not sold by A is 9 and published is 450, right? So 9 out of 450 is 2%. 1% is 4.5. 2% is 9. If the number of fiction and non-fiction books sold by publisher B is 240 and 30 respectively, okay, and then find the difference between the number of fiction and non-fiction books that are not sold by publisher B. So fiction and non-fiction, they have given the bifurcation of sold and not sold. I mean, they have given sold, you have to find for not sold. Okay, so if we talk about this publisher B, okay, so fiction, it is 300, okay, non-fiction is 60, sold, unsold. So they have given 240 sold, so unsold will be 60, and it is 30 sold. Okay, so there will be 30 unsold. So they have asked this difference. So this difference is 30. Okay. What is the average of the number of books published by all the three publishers? Find the average number of books published by these three publishers. Simple, just add this and divide by 3. So we will get 900, 1350. Divide by 3, we'll get 450. So 450 is the average. What is the number of books sold by publisher B? We can see that this number is 270. That is directly stated here. If you get a set like this, easy to make table and can answer the questions. That should not take much time. Okay. All right. So here's the next one. Again, that is based on percentages. So generally, the concept of caselets is they are arithmetic based for sure, right? Most of the cases, like I would say, 80 to 90% times, they will be based on percentage or ratio. Okay, or maybe average included in this ratio with average. So combination of these three in 80 to 90%. Very few times it can be on other topics, right? So like it can be time, work, time, speed, distance. So we shall solve one case after this, which is based on time and work. So this is again based on percentages. So before you solve this set, like you see the information given and the options given. Now all values we see are multiples of 100. Okay, this is 13,500, 6,500. You see these values, right? So 13,500, 6,500, 1,300. Okay, in the options also these are multiples of 100. Right, so as a strategy like that saves at some time, right? You might think here kitna hi time bachega, but think of it that you apply it on every possible question, right? You might be able to solve save some minutes. Okay, and then in that some minutes those one and two questions can make a difference. Okay, so even if you make two questions extra by doing all this thing throughout the paper, that's a great thing. So the values if they're given is like 13,500, so just accept the value as 135, right? So if it is 6,500, just take it 65. 1,300, take this value as 13. So you will get your answer accordingly. You will get 27, 36, 30 and 70. Avoid those zeros, like this is 100, sometimes it might be thousands. Okay, so just avoid those calculations. Maybe at some place, let us say there is something is you are taking in thousand, something is given as 12,500, so you can take as 12.5 also, right? But in this case it is mostly in hundreds, so take in form of hundreds. That thing really works, right? When you're doing rough work, you're writing tens of values, right? And in every value if you save two zeros, uh, that means that you have saved a lot of time in writing those unnecessary stuff, because that is not going to change. Okay, if they ask you the value, if you get the value as let us say 1,700, and even if you do not use the zeros, you will get the value as 17. Okay, so let us see this question. So it says there are three employees in a company, Sakshi, Sanjana and Vaishali. They saved Vaishali saves 20%. So we have three employees, Sakshi, Sanjana and Vaishali. Okay, so we have their salary, their expenses and their savings. Right, so it says that the salary of Sanjana is 135 and Vaishali is 6,500 more. So 65 you add is, that is you get 200. Okay, the savings of Sakshi is 1,300 less than savings of Vaishali. Expenditure of Sanjana is 2/3 of her salary. So expenditure is 2/3. So expenditure is 90. The saving is 45. Right. So now let's go to the first sentence. Vaishali saved 20% of her salary. So 20% of 200 is 40. This will be 160. And Sakshi saved 15% of her salary. So this is 15%. Okay. Now, some information we have missed. The saving of Sakshi is 1,300 less than the savings of Vaishali. So if it is 1,300 less, so subtract 13, we get 27. So we are seeing we are getting all these values in this, right? So the question is saving of Sakshi, you can say that it is 2,700 because we got 27. But let's put the answer also. So 15%, 15% is 27. So what will be 100%? 100% will be 27 upon 15 into 100. Okay, so divide by 5, that is 180. 180 and we subtract it, this will be 153. So this is how you can fill the table. Now see, we filled the table and we used how many, we saved how many zeros? 1, 2, 3, like 9 into 2, 18 zeros. We saved 18 zeros. Okay, now just write 18 zeros on a paper of piece of paper and see how much time does it take to write those zeros. Okay, so if you do this, let's in every possible way, like let's say this is one set, there is another set with this, or there is some quant question, let us say simple interest, compound interest, where values are given in lakhs or kind of thing. So if you save those little things, that make the difference, you get that extra time, right? So it happens everywhere, right? Let's say like in cricket also, you say that this player has got extra time to play, right? How much extra time does it, like it's hardly fraction of second, but even that fraction of seconds make the difference, right? So here you are saving not fraction of seconds, you might save some minutes also, right? So that extra time always benefits you, right? So these are techniques apart from just having the subject matter expertise. Having subject knowledge is good, but you should know these hacks also in order to attempt questions fast, right? So now we can answer the questions easily. What is the difference between the salaries of Sanjana and Sakshi, right? So Sanjana and Sakshi, so for that answer we have written the table here, but you use 135 and 90, you get 4500. Now again, if this you can do it mentally, but if you had to do some calculation, again you could have saved writing some zeros. Okay, all right. What is the ratio of expenditure of Sanjana to that of Vaishali? Now, another reason, wherein you can save time is basically if you know the question types, right? Let's say I told you that there are certain types which are related to banking examinations. Okay, so if you have done those kind of questions, sometimes you do not have to read the common instructions. Okay, let's say you see questions on quadratic equation, you know how to do that, and you know what exactly needs to be done, or quantity comparison, you do not have to read that common instruction, that what is it trying to say. Okay, so those things, certain things that help you better than being better than others. So expenditure of Sanjana to Vaishali, so Sanjana to Vaishali is, acha, so this table is drawn like this: Sanjana to Vaishali, so 9 ratio 60. Akshi spends 40% of the expenditure on rent and rest on the food. Find the amount that she spends on food. This lady Sakshi, she spends some on rent and some on food. And I don't know where does the remaining expenses go. How does she manage the expenses? But yes, you should not worry about it. You have to answer the question, right? So as a child, you were given questions like a person buys 100 watermelons, right? We never thought that why would a person buy 100 watermelon? So word problems could have illogical questions, okay, which may not relate to the true happenings, right? If 40% on rent and rest on food, right? What about other expenses? Okay, so he spent 60% on food. That's rest means 60%, right? 60% of what? 60% of 150, 15,300, right? So just use the digit 153 into 6, right? So this is 918. So again, ignoring zeros, like you can answer it. And there was an option, none of these, otherwise you can just have seen the last digit and answered. Okay, so here's the next question. It says that what is the average savings of Sanjana and Vaishali? So Sanjana saves 4,500, Vaishali saves 4,000. So total is 8,500. Divided by 2, we get 4,250. Okay, so average savings is 4,250. Okay. All right, so that was again an easy set. This might be slightly lengthy. Not know once you start solving it, you get to know. So it is based on time and work. So as I said, most of the times, 80 to 90% of the cases, it is about your these uh, like arithmetic, primarily percentage and ratio based. Uh, No, easy. Yeah, it was slightly easier than what you would get, right? थोड़ा सा difficult, मतलब थोड़ा सा लंबा आता है. Last year that paper was very easy. Last year I had these kind of questions, very simple ones. Last year was the case people solved all the paper, the entire paper. So it was about more of knowledge based thing. If my English was good, I would have got even better percentile or rank. Okay, so I got stuck in some synonyms, antonyms, and vocab-based questions, right? Which is knowledge-based. So you know. If you do not know, you do not know. You cannot help. ग्रामर तो फिर भी थोड़ा लगा सकते हो, लॉजिक लगा सकते हो, हाँ ये हो सकता है, ये हो सकता है. बट vocab is like completely know or don't know, because quant और reasoning तो बहुत easy है. Everyone did it well. Other two sections. So it says there are five workers A, B, C, D, E, and they work for different number of days, and some thing is given about their efficiencies, the portion of work, okay, and right, so how much did a person complete, and something about their efficiencies also. So what we will do is, in this case, we will make a table like this: person A, B, C, D, E. Find the number of days and the portion that they completed, right? So let us say it is given B completed one third of the work, right? So you can write 33.33% or 33.3. You will understand that it is one third. Okay, D completed one sixth, so D is, you can say, 16.7%, right? So that should add up to total 100%. So they did not work together, they worked separately. Okay, maybe in some order, and some information, more information is given, that who completed what, how much percent and all. निकला किसी का? What total number of days taken? It is also sort of like you are given the percentages, you are given the ratio of efficiencies also. Okay, just that you need to know the concept of time and work, that if a person is like efficiency is less, the person will take more days to do the same work. So we can fill the number of days at least, right? For A, B, E, they have directly given that A, B, and E worked for 5, 6, and 3 days. So 5 days, 6 days, 3 days. Okay, so we've used this statement, we've used this statement. Now, see, A and C completed the same portion of work while E did half of that, isn't it? Now you must be thinking कि कैसे पता लगेगा? So total work is done by these 5 people, right? Total work is 100%. We are given about B and D. B plus D ने कितना कर दिया total? B plus D did 50%, right? So that means A, C, and E, they completed together 50%, because these 5 people are completing the total work, and 2 people have done 50%, rest 3 will do 50%, right? So this sense कि total 100% होता है, that also should be known. ठीक है, अगर कुछ का दिया है बाकियों का नहीं दिया, so you know that the total is 50%. Okay, now it says A and C completed the same portion of work while E did half of that. तो अब देखो कई बार क्या होता है, like how to take variable also. So some people take x and x by 2. I would rather take that half वाले को मैं x ले लेता हूँ और इसे 2x ले लेता हूँ, इसे 2x ले लेता हूँ. They completed same, he completes half of this. So 5x, that comes out to be 50. So x is 10. So E completes 10% and A and C complete 20%. Okay. Now we have to find the number of days, right? One statement is C and D work for the same number of days. From this we cannot determine things. We are left with one statement. The efficiencies of B and D are in the ratio 4:3. Efficiency क्या होती है? क्या होती है efficiency? Like, how do you define efficiency? When do you say a person is more efficient? When do you say a person is less efficient? मतलब mathematically अगर if to calculate efficiency, how would you calculate? So efficiency is basically work done per unit time, right? Work done per unit time. Efficiency is what? Efficiency is basically work upon time. Now, if work is more, time is less, you will say the person is more efficient. Okay. Let us say if I do 10 units in 2 days. Okay, so you will say my efficiency is I can do 5 units per day, right? Work per unit time, that is called efficiency. Now it is given that the efficiency of B and D are in the ratio 4:3. Okay, so B and D, it is 4:3. So work upon time, B is doing how much of the work? 33.3%, right? Upon time, that is 6 days. Ratio, okay, and this is 16.7 upon, we do not know the number of days, right? That is given to us as 4/3. Okay, this thing is given as 4/3. Okay, so now if you see this, You can say that this is 2 times of this. 2 times, no? 33.3 is 2 times of 16.67%. Right? So now if you take this, this is 1 by 3. 1 by 3 ratio 1 by n is equal to 4 by 3. Okay. So when you take ratio, when you divide, right? What is ratio? Ratio is division. So if you divide 1 by 3 divided by, this is ratio is division, right? 1 by n, you will get n upon 3. So n is equal to 4 days. And both of them have same days. So 11, 19, 20. Did you get it? So ratio of efficiency is given. Efficiency is what? Work upon unit time. Right? If we say ki ek person, like whenever you solve time and work questions, what you do, you assume that total work is n units and then you divide by the time taken. Right? You take LCM and take that as total work. Let us say if I say ki there are two people, one does in 12 days, one does in 16 days. So you will say 16 or 12 का LCM ले लेते हैं. Total 48. So you will say कि he does in 4 units per day and 3 units per day. So that is the efficiency. Okay. So here that efficiency is number of units, number of portion of work, right? That can be in percentage or anything. So this upon this is this upon this. Okay. So in just simple calculations, we got that this number as 4. Okay. So we get this 4. So hence the answer will come as 22. Slightly this was total work 72 units. Yes, you can assume any work also, right? You can assume the work to be like you have calculated 72 because you must have taken 2 ratio 2 and 1 and then it's a multiple of 6. That way you must have done it. Yeah, so you can do that way also, or simple calculation also, because see, you know 33.33 16.67, that is 2 and 2 ratio 1. Okay, so you can calculate that way. Okay, is it clear? So efficiency is always work upon time. So if you know the work they have done and the time they have taken, and if work is not given, right, let's say each of them is doing same work, so that is inversely proportional to time. So if a person is taking less time, so if they are doing equal work, so let us say if their number of days is, so if d1 ratio d2 is, number of days taken is 3 ratio 2, so efficiency will be 2 ratio 3. In this case work was given, so efficiency is work upon time. So we get the answer as 22. So generally it happens, right? The work is same. They say that A completes the work in so many days and B completes the same work. So in that case efficiency is inverse of time. Now in how many days can C alone complete the work? It's good that they have not given option 4, because naturally many people uh, would have chosen 4 as the answer. So in how many days can he finish the work? And it's simple, right? 20, C is doing 20%. Okay. So another important thing you need to know about DI is these percentages. So this is 1 by 5, 1 by 3, 1/5, 1/6, 1/10. Right. So if he is doing 1/5 of the work in 4 days, 4 into 5, 20 days. Okay. In how many days can D and E together complete the work? In how many days can D and E together complete the work? D and E together complete the work. So D is doing 1/6, right? So 1/6 means 24 days, and E is doing 1/10. That means 30 days. Do the calculation. So 20 and 24 and 30, what do you get? So if a person is taking 24 and second person is taking 30, right? So LCM is how much? LCM is of 24 and 30 is 120. So work is 120 units. So he is doing 5 units. He is doing 4 units. So 120 upon 9. Right. So 13 into 9 is 117, and 13 3 by 9, or you can say 13 1 by 3 days. Okay, that you will get as the answer. Okay. If A and B started working together and after 9 days B left, what is the time taken by A to complete remaining work on his own? So this set is based on time and work concept, right? So you might get questions based on arithmetic themes also, like this is on time and work, that could be speed, time, distance, etc. So the question says A and B started working together and after 9 days B left. Okay, so time taken by A to complete the remaining work on his own. So first of all, A will do in 25 days and B will do in 18 days. Okay, so LCM of 25 and 18, there is no common multiple, so work will be 450 units. Okay, and A will do 18 units in a day, B will do 25 units in a day, or you can call it efficiency also. This is the time and this is efficiency, right? So total efficiency is 43, and after 9 days B left. That is coming as 387. Okay, so 387 is done, and then B left. So how much is remaining work is 63, and how much does A do? A, his efficiency is 18. 18 threes are 54, 3.5 days. So typical time and work question wherein you know the number of days that take to complete the thing, right? Okay, next is F is twice as efficient as E. F, E and C work on the project in the manner that on day 1 only F works, on day 2 only E works, on day 3 only C works, and ये soon नहीं होगा, it will be so on, right? Soon, take it as so on, the cycle continues. Who completes the work and on which day? So I mean the last person to complete the work, that is what they mean to say. Now in this question we need extra information, right? So as a strategical move, right, whenever you are attempting a paper, as a strategical move, avoid such questions. क्योंकि तुमने 4 questions कर लिए and here you see कि they need for any another person. So फिर से निकालना पड़ेगा. प्लस द काइंड ऑफ क्वेश्चन, राइट। ये अगर तुम्हारा नॉर्मल भी क्वेश्चन आता है टाइम एंड वर्क में, वेर इन सबकी एफिशिएंसी दी भी रहती है, ये फर्स्ट डे ये काम करता है, सेकंड डे ये काम करता है, थर्ड डे ये काम करता है, यू टेक अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम टू सॉल्व दैट क्वेश्चन, राइट। यू नो दैट कि these questions take time, because you will have to calculate for 3 days how much percentage of work is done, and then accordingly you calculate that how many cycles will be needed to complete the work. So lengthy question, right? And if you're getting in a set wherein you do not know the time taken by F also, so avoid such questions in the examination. As I told you that it is not necessary कि एक DI set मिल गया तो सारे question करने हैं उसके, right? You should think of time also, that if you believe that your time is you can utilize your time elsewhere, do that. Agar if you do not know other sections, like, or this is the only thing that you can do, that is the time remaining of yours, you're doing it very fast pace, then only you should attempt these questions. But ideally skip that question or come back to it later. ये 4 क्वेश्चन करिए, छोड़ दिया, बाद में टाइम बचा तो ऐसे क्वेश्चन अटेम्प्ट कर लिए. Okay, so E, F and C, these are working. So C is 5 times, that is 20 days. C will take 20 days, E will take 30 days, and it says F is twice as efficient as E. So twice efficient means half time, so F will take 15 days, right? Now it says they work in the project. On day 1 F works, on day 2 E works, and on day 3 C works. So let us take the LCM of this, 20, 30 and 15. So LCM comes out as work is equal to 60 units. Okay, LCM निकालोगे 60 आ जाएगा. So units कितने कितने हो जाएंगे? So units or efficiency is 3, 2 and 4. Now total work is 60 units. They are doing 3, 2 and 4 units in one day. Okay. So first of all we will calculate one cycle. One cycle, how many units? 3 plus 2 plus 4, that is 9 units. Okay. First thing is the work done in one cycle in such questions. One cycle, then you find the number of complete cycles. इसे कैसे करते हैं? Do not directly divide 60 by 9 and tell the answer, right? Complete cycles कितनी हो जाएंगी? Complete cycles will be like 60 by 9, that is 6 complete. 6 कंप्लीट होंगी ना, 7th कंप्लीट नहीं होगी, तो 6th कंप्लीट हो जाएंगी. इसमें कितना वर्क हो जाएगा? वर्क डन इज 54 एंड टाइम इज, से एक साइकिल 3 डेज की है, राइट? 3 to 4, 3 people working, so time is 18 days. So 54 units in 18 days is done. Okay, so that is how we find the time. Now who is starting the work? So day 1 F works. ठीक है, तो F कितना कर देगा? F is doing how many units? F is doing 4 units. So on 19 day 58 is done and F is completing the work. Okay, so day 20 it will be finished, right? So day 20 60th will be done, and day 2 E works, and E takes E does 2 units, so E completes it completely. So that is E on 20th day. Okay, so lengthy question to calculate. Okay, because sometimes what people do is they just divide 60 by 9. ठीक है, और वहां पे गलत आ जाता है. Sometimes if they ask you the number of days in fractions especially, so there these things get wrong. So you need to find the complete cycle, number of complete cycles, and find how much work is done in those complete cycles and how much time taken in those complete cycles, and then manually calculate for the remaining period, right? So we see that we get E is completing the work on 20th day. Okay, all right, so those were some caselets that we did in this class. And if you are preparing for CAT and other MBA entrance examinations, you may enroll in our classroom programs. So that's the class, right? I hope you liked the class and learned something new in this, right? The way of approaching questions, what to do, what not to do in the examination. That is also important, right? It's not just that you have knowledge of everything. I mean, you should have knowledge, but you should also have knowledge that what is the right thing to do, what is the thing to avoid. That what makes you better, right? If you throw yourself at every question, that's not a good thing. So instead, you should also know that what are the questions to avoid and which ones to not to avoid, and certain hacks that apart from knowledge make you smart and make enable you to crack the examinations. Okay, so that's it for today's class. Thanks for watching the class. Have a great day ahead. Goodbye.